One of my favorite time-saving tips when I'm crafting is having the designer series paper do all the work for me, especially when I'm about to make a whole bunch of Christmas cards. So let me show you how to make this stunning gold foil covered Christmas card in less than 15 minutes. So this is part of my traditional labels class that I'm offering this month here on my YouTube channel. You can get a free class kit with all the pieces prepped for you. You will need the traditional labels bundle or something similar that has sentiments and label dies. But I will do all the rest of the cutting for you. So let me show you step by step how quick and easy it is to make. I already have my stamp mounted. I'm using the 'Tis the Season, and that is actually the only one that doesn't fit into any of these labels unless you stamp it like in a two-step kind of way and or cut it apart. But we do have a die that fits it perfectly. So I'm bringing in my textured notes dies. This is one of my all-time favorites. Look at all these different dies that you get. This is basically like a whole card front, the largest one. And then we have this long skinny one, and that's the one I'll be using for my sentiment. And then I'm bringing in some other dies that actually come from the Traditions of Christmas suite. You find that in the September-December mini catalog by Stampin' Up! On pages 22 and 23. So it's right at the beginning of the catalog. And there are the Christmas greenery dies. These are also part of a bundle. There is a coordinating stamp set, but there's a few dies in here, these open edge dies, that cut out the images from the designer series paper. So like I said, one of my favorite time-saving tips there. So we're going to use this one here that die cuts this whole bouquet. So I'm going to put my sample card up here. And I prepared a few bits and pieces. I just realized with my last video that it is just it's more my nature to have these prepped ahead of time. And I mean, I always have a stack of my basic white thick cardstock bases, 8.5 by 5.5, score and folded at 4 1/4. So that's our card base. Then I have a piece of our gold foil that is 3 inches, 5 inches by 3 inches, and then just a tiny bit smaller, again from the Traditions of Christmas designer series paper. So this is the back side, kind of like a cherry cobbler real red pattern there. And on the front side with all the gold foil, so if you wanted to, you could switch that up. But I mean, this is already a lot. So if you just want to go with this, then I would just probably just die cut my sentiment and leave it at that. But I wanted to make use of those gorgeous Christmas roses, I think it is, bouquet. So we're going to glue that down, and then I have my bouquet here that will die cut here in a second, and then for my label. So how about we start there? So those were all the bits and pieces. So let's start there. We'll just die cut our label so we can stamp on there in a second. I'm bringing in my small Stampin' Cut Emboss machine. By the way, if you have a whole ton of 1/2 inch basic white cardstock strips or any other color, this die fits them perfectly. So I've been using up quite a bit of 1/2 inch strips like that. So now where's my other cutting plate? Okay, it's right here. So this is the only part that I didn't prepare. So at least we'll do a little bit of die cutting. I hope I'm not shaking my table too much. All right, so we have our label cut. There we go. And since this is a photopolymer stamp set, it'll be quick and easy to stamp on that. That can go in the trash. And then we have our bouquet here, and I will bring in some Post-it note tape to line it up and make sure it doesn't move. So there's lots of different there's 2 sheets with this design, and it has lots of different color variations of this bouquet. Or if you like to stamp it, so the coordinating stamp set has this big image, and then it has small images to stamp in the fillings for these flowers. So lots of coordination going on. Okay, so let's just put that there. I mean, I just don't want it to move too much. Okay. And we're going to push that in so that our handle starts moving. And let's see, can I actually, I'll just run it through like this, holding it up without shaking the table. Okay. Also gives you a good workout. All right. So, and I'm not sure, it might even fit these berries that are on here. So, but we're not going to eat those. And there we go. How quick and easy was that? So I don't even have to worry about sitting down and stamping all those images. Because, you know, maybe sometimes you forgot somebody on your Christmas card list, and then you need just a few quick extra cards. Then this card idea is definitely one you could use. Okay, so and then let's just stamp our sentiment. Even though it's cherry cobbler mainly here on this card, I decided it's also real red, so I decided to go with the lighter one. Sometimes, you know, when you play around, it's just one color, even though they're very close, like both are dark reds, or rich reds, I should say. The real red just looked a little bit better. I don't know. So, just making sure I ink that up good. And I'm going to pull that to me a little bit so I can make sure to get my sentiment on there. Oop! Well, you see what happened? Have a little bit of a dot there, so because my label is bending upwards. So let's see if I can hit that now and still get it on this just let's just be brave. Oh, yep, pretty good. I think I covered up my little dot there. Yes, perfect. Let's be grateful for that today. Okay, so we have our bits and pieces. Now let's put this together. So I'm just using some Stampin' Seal all the way around. And placing that on my gold foil. So the Designer Series paper is just 1/8 smaller than my gold foil. So the gold foil was 3 by 5. So this is 4 7/8 by 2 7/8. Okay, and now I am switching to my liquid glue. So I have a little bit more wiggle room when I place that on my card base. So sometimes with certain things you need to, with the gold foil, I think sometimes it needs a little bit of a extra, like a different handling. Okay, so like you're gonna, if you smudge some adhesive on here, you're gonna see it and it's hard to get that off. All right, make sure my card base is the right way. Okay, and now let's see, get that lined up nicely in the middle. And the liquid glue allows me to do that. I know a lot of people struggle with liquid glue. It is a little bit of a learning curve, but if I had to choose, that's my adhesive of choice. Although I know I've converted quite a bit here to the Stampin' Seal. So for thinner paper like the Designer Series paper. Okay, so now it was a little bit of a question of which one I'm going to pop up. The bouquet and the sentiment I felt like was a little bit too much. I'm just worried that's going to get too squished in the mail. So I decided to just pop up my flowers. So, and I'm using the mini dimensionals because that just gives me a little bit more control of spreading them out and all the bits and pieces. So that's probably a little bit of an overkill, but these are actually dimensionals from a kit I put together recently. And I want to use them up because a lot of times our kit dimensionals have a different thickness. I mean, you could grab some and compare, but I feel like these are actually a little bit thicker. So I want to make sure that I don't mix these on a card or, you know, start like I'm running out of dimensionals on one sheet and then I grab the next one and then it's going to be uneven because it's a different thickness. So I'm trying to use up this sheet. Yeah, I hope all of that makes sense. My little detour there. Not detour, but you get what I'm saying. Okay, so now the downside is it's going to take me a second here to get all of these off. So here's actually something that really helps. I like to use my tweezers or my Stampin', my pick, take your pick tool, and just kind of push it down in the middle, and then it lifts up. And sometimes that works. I feel like this time it wasn't helpful. So, and I know some people love to use their pierce tool or the poke end of their take your pick tool. Okay, let's just see. I mean, it was just like a whole bunch of dimensionals, but it looks like I got the backing of all of them. Okay, so, and then I'm going to place that right here in the middle. So this was probably the most complicated part on this card. And then I'm going to use, it's kind of tricky with our Stampin' Seal because it's just that width of the label. So let's see if I can get some very thin coating going here with my, oh, there we go, with my liquid glue, because I don't want the adhesive to show. And since the basic white cardstock is a little bit thinner, it's the same principle as with the designer series paper. You want to make sure you don't have the streaks of glue showing through. Okay, and now let's see. I know, because I know I have sweaty hands, I don't want to brush over my stamped image because I know I'm going to smear it. So let's just see, is that somewhat in the middle? Oh, I'm getting nervous because I'm afraid of smearing that. So here's something else you can do. Use a tool you know is clean. So I'll just use my, so all I'm trying to do is just adhere the label to the designer series paper. Oh, you see it's still moving. So, okay, that should be good. All right, and then for finishing touch, I'm still messing with it. Okay, I'll leave it alone. It's good and it's looking pretty as it is. And then I'm bringing in my iridescent foil gems again, just like I did on my first card. By the way, if you missed card 1 in this class series this week, I will link it right at the end of this video tutorial, so you can keep watching there. And now, speaking of my take your pick tool, so I'm going to pop a small, bigger one. Let's see, down there, and a small one down here, and another small one up here by the flower. So I have my triangle going again. So just a little bit of extra bling there, and it does pick up because they have like kind of like a pink speckle in there as well. So it does pick up some of that pink in the designer series paper. And there you go. All my chit chat banter aside, this was a quick and easy one to make because I used the advantage of just die cutting the designer series paper. And technically, you could also just fussy cut that. So if you don't have the dies for that, and you can do that with any designer series paper, always double check if it's part of a product suite with Stampin' Up. There's a pretty good chance that the dies in your bundle also coordinate with some of the images in the designer series paper. And yeah, don't forget, you can get a free class kit. I have the link with all the details how you can actually get it for free to make all these cards this week at home. I have the link in the description, and there's also a link to my free online course, 12 weeks before Christmas. It's dozens and dozens of Christmas card ideas that you can download for free, the PDF tutorials, step-by-step instructions, and photos and supply lists and all of that. From this year, we're actually ending it today is the last week, which means from now on we have 12 more weeks before Christmas. So that's always a good reminder there for me and for you. And yeah, again, it's a free online course, so go and check it out. I will be back with another fun card tutorial tomorrow with the Traditions of Christmas suite here on my YouTube channel. So don't yeah, miss out on it, because I actually decided to do a little bit of a stepped up card. Since it's going to be Friday, I decided to do a fun and fancy kind of card. Usually we do sweet and simple, but I thought I'd mix it up just a little bit. And it's going to be a fun gift card holder. So yeah, you don't want to miss that. And yeah, go, if you missed out on the first card, you can check it out right here. I'll see you in the next video.